The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army.
Welcome to the Benjamin Dixon Show, special Saturday edition, 2019, October 19th, 2019. I couldn't wait till Monday to talk about this Tulsi and Hillary scrap that took place, that started yesterday and is probably going to last, who knows? This could go on through the rest of the primaries. If Tulsi gets her way, this would last through the primaries. For those of you who have no idea what's going on, sometime yesterday afternoon, it was reported that an interview was getting ready to be released with Hillary Clinton, saying very directly that Jill Stein is an agent of Russia, and inferring very strongly that Tulsi Gabbard is being recruited by Russia to launch a third-party bid. I don't believe the reason I'm talking about this on Saturdays, because this is a passion project for me. Win, lose, or draw, when patrons lose subscribers, when it's just a passion project for me. I just got to call out bullshit where I see it. I call out my own bullshit, but anyway, enough of the posturing. The reason I had to speak about it today is because this is the intersection that shows you the most about American politics. This mashup right here is the case study of all case studies about American politics in 2019 and how we have to navigate going forward. This mashup shows you how American politics can honestly be viewed through the lens of cult of personality or sheer hatred. Cult of personality or sheer hatred. For example, it is the cult of personality that surrounds the Clinton family and the cult of personality that surrounds people who hate the Clintons. You can really divide up American politics into that group. People who are they swear their allegiance to the Clintons and nobody else. And the whole lot of people, I don't care what you say, there are just as many people who hate the Clintons with the fire of 10 nuclear bombs as there are people who love Hillary Clinton. And I think that is really the way that you can understand American politics in 2019. That's how Donald Trump got elected. The sheer hatred for Hillary Clinton. The Democratic Party misunderestimated how much people hate that woman. And the Clinton family and the Democratic Party overestimated how many people loved them. There were not enough people who loved Hillary Clinton to overcome voter suppression that Republicans have been executing for a long time, or to overcome the fact that she did not campaign adequately in Ohio or Pennsylvania, or that she had a pitiful African-American outreach in Florida. There were not enough people who loved her to overcome all of those barriers, period. And I think that is, no, I don't think, 100%, I offer to you that is the framework that we can understand all of American politics. And that is our Achilles heel, the cult of personality phenomenon. We're so enamored by people that we can't see the truth sometimes. And the hatred of another candidate or another person that actualizes, that mobilizes and galvanizes a huge set of our American body politic. Now, that's the lens that I want to have this conversation. As far as Tulsi last night, she shot back. She shot back hella hard against Hillary Clinton in a spectacular way. This is what she said. Great. Thank you, Hillary Clinton. You, the queen of warmongers, embodiment of corruption and personification of the rot that has sickened the Democratic Party for a long time, have finally came out from behind the curtain. 241,000 likes, 67,000 retweets. That's presidential level. From the day I announced my candidacy, there has been a concerted campaign to destroy my reputation. We wondered who was behind it and why. Now we see it. It has always been you, through proxies and through powerful allies in the corporate media and war machine. 108,000 likes, 20,000 retweets. It's now clear that this primary is between you and me. Houseway. Don't cowardly hide behind your proxies. Join the race directly. Yes, I'm saying this in a mocking voice. 124,000 likes, 22.8 thousand retweets. Yes, I say that last tweet specifically in a mocking voice because, please, Tulsi, on your best day, you're not going to beat Bernie Sanders. Well, Ben, why did you frame the conversation in Tulsi versus Bernie Sanders? Because she wants this campaign, Tulsi wants this campaign to be between her and all of the people who hate Hillary Clinton versus the Democratic Party, including Bernie Sanders. Maybe I could say that a little clearer. it is extremely beneficial for Tulsi Gabbard's personal ambitions that she catalyzes that entire big group of people who hate Hillary Clinton with the fire of 10 nuclear weapons. Because if she can do that, then she can begin to pick off even more, not from Joe Biden. Joe Biden voters are going to stay with Joe Biden. We're trying our best to get them away from Joe Biden over to Bernie Sanders, or at a minimum, Elizabeth Warren, but anybody but Joe Biden and Tulsi Gabbard. But anyway, she's trying her best to catalyze. Yes, I am petty. I don't care. She's trying her best to catalyze that large group of people whose entire political participation can be traced back to their hatred for Hillary Clinton. Because she's making a calculation, and it is a smart calculation. Let me put a sidestep here. Man, if I was in Tulsi's campaign, I would be doing the doo-doo brown. I would be like dancing a jig. I would be like popping and locking excited because Hillary Clinton gave them the biggest gift they would ever have. This is the biggest thing. This is Tulsi's shining moment on the international stage because the way American politics work is that she is getting a nod from everyone who hates Hillary Clinton to that level. To that level of, honestly, I have to just say it. Some people hate Hillary Clinton so much that they lose all sense of rationality. They lose the plot. They see Hillary Clinton as this behemoth of the most monstrous figure on the international stage. It is more acceptable on the left. The only person on the left that we can agree to hate is Hillary Clinton. Now, I'm going to tell you personally, I wish that broad would go away and never show her face in public ever again because she's not helping anybody. She is hurting America right now. She is literally hurting. What she did yesterday was not just a benefit to Tulsi Gabbard. It is a detriment to the United States of America in many categories, not just in the category of this presidential campaign. She's furthering this. She's doing two things. This is the craziest thing. You stick with me on this one. She is both hurting people by forwarding this Red Scare McCarthyism that is the most lazy form of critique. It is lazy and is detrimental. But here's who it's detrimental to. It's not detrimental to Tulsi Gabbard at all. This helps Tulsi Gabbard 100%. There's literally no reason. You know how it helps? I hate starting and stopping sentences, but I had to. You know how this helps? It helps because it plays on the emotions of people who hate Hillary Clinton and people who hate this Red Scare McCarthyism, and it galvanizes, it causes people to rally around her. It causes people to donate more money, and Tulsi Gabbard is going to be a bigger star because of it. So there's nothing, she lost nothing. She loses nothing. She gains in a very significant way, but it hurts when people like my friends over at the Black Agenda Report or even closer, Noah Chonga, my sister from another mister here in Atlanta, she was called a Russian stooge by NPR. So this ridiculous criticism is detrimental to people, but it's not detrimental to Tulsi Gabbard at all. It is the biggest gift that she could have ever received. Just think of it this way. How amazing would it be for my career if I could get Donald Trump to criticize me directly? That's basically what happened last night to Tulsi Gabbard. It is a ridiculous smear, but it's not a smear that hurts Tulsi Gabbard. It's one that helps her. It is one that hurts people like a Noah, who does not have an email list through which she can fundraise off of this, period. You know who else is hurt by this? 100%. Bernie Sanders is hurt by this. This is the news cycle today. Tulsi Gabbard is the news cycle. Hillary Clinton gave a win to Tulsi Gabbard over Bernie Sanders's big announcements today, endorsements today. By the way, go, if you can go, watch it, retweet it, talk about it, not about this, because this helps Tulsi distract from Bernie Sanders. And it does so on a very important weekend where he's getting endorsements from Ilhan Omar and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez today in New York. So that's a thing to really be considered. Hillary Clinton's move does not hurt Tulsi Gabbard. It helps her tremendously. But it does distract from Bernie Sanders. And I would argue because we've seen the movement of people from Bernie Sanders over to Tulsi Gabbard before, it also helps her in that way and hurts Bernie in that way. And And this is going back to how I wanted to frame the entire conversation. When American politics is based on either being in love in a cult of personality with a politician or hating politicians so much that you find yourself wavering and going to strange bedfellows, we saw in 2016 people who hated Hillary Clinton so much that they left Bernie Sanders and they went to Donald Trump. And we see right now that Tulsi Gabbard, a portion of her support base, are people who are disillusioned with Bernie Sanders because he endorsed Hillary Clinton in 2016 and they never forgave him for that. And they have become some of the most vocal supporters for Tulsi Gabbard in 2016. And so by Hillary Clinton opening her big mouth, she has galvanized, she's opened up a fresh wound. People who had just moved away from the Bernie versus Hillary wars and were focusing solely on Bernie now are defending Tulsi Gabbard. Well, that matters, especially when Tulsi Gabbard's a good portion of her base are people who are already disillusioned with Bernie Sanders. Let me put it to you this way. Do you believe that a single person who is rallying behind Tulsi Gabbard this morning is a Joe Biden supporter or an Elizabeth Warren supporter or an Amy Klobuchar supporter or a Pete Buttigieg supporter? No. The people who are rallying behind Tulsi Gabbard are Bernie supporters in conjunction with, Tulsi Gabbard supporters, obviously, and people who just hate Hillary Clinton, like Donald Trump supporters, Steve Bannon fans, the alt-right. Those are the people who are, retweeting this thing and throwing the support. And of course, you can like a tweet without being a supporter of Tulsi Gabbard. Obviously, this doesn't mean that everybody's going to fall in line and fall in love with Tulsi Gabbard. I'm not asserting that at all. But I would say, since we have already seen the movement of voters from Bernie to Tulsi specifically, and we saw that movement go from Bernie to Donald Trump because of their sheer hatred for Hillary Clinton, that an event like this, where Hillary Clinton injects her egotistical big mouth into the conversation, it has a rallying effect that hurts Bernie by galvanizing the hatred for Hillary and creating a rallying around the flag effect for Tulsi. In fact, this has been the biggest gift that Hillary Clinton could ever give Tulsi Gabbard. Hands down. In fact, that's why Tulsi Gabbard tweeted that last statement, that this primary is now between she and Hillary Clinton. Why? Why does it? Because if this primary becomes about her versus Hillary Clinton, you will see a rallying effect around Tulsi that could elevate her to be an actual contender. Period. And who does that hurt, ladies and gentlemen? That doesn't hurt Joe Biden. That doesn't hurt Elizabeth Warren. That hurts Bernie Sanders. And quite honestly, if I was on her team, I would advise her to milk this. I would advise her to take this to the house, man, to just run with this, because this makes her an actual contender, because she's tapped into the core of American politics. She has an enemy now, a very public enemy that people hate with the fire of 10,000 stars. And because that level of hatred causes a certain level of irrationality, it will lead and has led to people leaving the progressive movement and aligning with fascists, and then going to Donald Trump, right? And then we've seen another group of people who have not gone all the way to Donald Trump, but they left Bernie Sanders and they went to Tulsi Gabbard. So it is a brilliant strategy, but I know bullshit when I see it. She's not hurt by this. She was dancing when she got the news about this. You want proof? Tulsi was late to her own event last night. She was like 2 hours late just so that she could go on Fox News with Tucker Carlson, one of the preeminent white supremacists dressed in a suit. She had to go on his show so that she can capitalize on the moment. And this is what she said about Hillary Clinton.
And the reason why she's doing this is because ultimately she knows that she can't control me. That I stand against everything that she represents. And that if I'm elected president, if I'm the Democratic nominee and elected president, that she won't be able to control me. She won't be able to manipulate me. She won't be able to continue to work from behind the curtain, to continue these regime change wars that have been so costly. Thousands.
You know, it's hilarious that she constantly calls out the regime change wars, but she lays it at the feet of Hillary Clinton, who's not in power, but never lays it at the feet of Donald Trump, who is actually still in power. Right. And he's not making moves to end America's empire. He's just shifting the pieces of the board and sending them to Saudi Arabia or leaving them in the region. Right. Let's be clear about that. But that's besides the point. The point is that she seized upon the moment, and she seized upon the moment for Fox News. And because she knows that there is a strand in the so-called progressive left that sees nothing wrong with catering to Fox News viewers, and particularly love her language that sounds like it's anti-war. But when you really roll back the veneer of Tulsi Gabbard, she's not anti-war. And it gives cover to Donald Trump to feign as though he's anti-war. But when you don't even have to pull back the cover or a veneer, Donald Trump is engaging in the same wars that we were. In fact, he's sending more troops. But she does this it is a song and dance. That's because there's a segment in America that honestly believes that the Democratic Party is the greatest evil. They don't believe, and this is who Tulsi Gabbard is going after. They don't believe that Donald Trump, who's currently executing the same military industrial complex that we have always had, who is carrying out more drone strikes that even Barack Obama did. Is anybody going to mention that? Is anybody going to mention that he escalated the drone attacks that galvanized an entire movement against Barack Obama? But how convenient it is for them, those people who all fall in the same category of the contrarian left. They're not really even leftists, but they are just contrarian. They found their voice against the Democratic Party, and they're unable to shift to see that same machine that they hate so much from the Democratic Party is now being further expanded by Donald Trump. And that those people, the Michael Tracys of the world, and I reluctantly say Glenn Greenwald because, as much as we disagree with each other, we're still friendly, but he falls in that category as well. That's the type of people that Tulsi is pandering to. And the same people who will have no problem with her going on Fox News with the white supremacists who just earlier this week defamed indigenous people with the same rhetoric, hate-filled rhetoric as Nazis. They see no problem with that because what is she doing? She's attacking Hillary Clinton. And for some people, I'm telling you, their full political participation can be understood through their hatred for the Clintons. That is what Tulsi is manipulating right now. Okay, enough about that. Here's the other part coming up.
Pretty white TT, 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 pretty white TT.
Now, if Hillary Clinton had superpowers, the supervillain powers that you think that she has, if Hillary Clinton was like, I honestly believe some of you see her as like being fully capable of masterminding Seth Rich's death, running Pizzagate, running Jeffrey Epstein, like managing that on the side, as well as flying the jets over Syria to implement her own no-fly zone. People really ascribe that level of Machiavellian supervillain powers to Hillary Clinton. Okay, let's take, taking the sarcasm out of it, and let's say that she is a master manipulator. Politics 101 would tell you that Hillary Clinton knew exactly the outcome of her statement. She knew that it was going to benefit Tulsi Gabbard. And it's completely illogical or irrational for you it's irrational for you to believe that Hillary Clinton is this brilliant mastermind evil person and simultaneously not think that she did this on purpose to help Tulsi Gabbard. Now, to me, that's a stretch. To me, that's a contortion that I'm not willing to take. I tweeted it last night, but I tweeted it tongue in cheek. But if you honestly believe that Hillary Clinton is evil enough and Machiavellian enough and a supervillain, like with a 30-year plan like Senator Palpatine, if you think she has that level of skill, do you not think she knew that this statement would be the biggest boon for Tulsi Gabbard? If you can make the first leap, you have to make that second leap. And then you have to ask yourself the question, who really gets hurt from this? Who really gets hurt from Hillary Clinton inserting herself into this campaign like this unnecessarily so. It wasn't Tulsi. Nothing about this. Tulsi won. Tulsi got everything she ever dreamed of that she could get last night. I mean, come on. I would be elated. It would be nothing more than the best Christmas gift that I could ever get if Donald Trump came after me. I would play it the same way. I would give the most eloquent tweet saying, standing firm against Donald Trump so that I can galvanize all of the people who hate him with the fire of 10,000 nuclear bombs. 10,000 suns, I guess, would be bigger than the nuclear bombs. So 10,000 suns, right? I'm never claimed to be good at science. I would do the exact same thing. So Tulsi didn't lose. Tulsi wasn't hurt. Tulsi won. And the real loser in this are all the people who hate Hillary Clinton so much that they really find themselves now caping for Tulsi Gabbard. Which, if for some strange reason, Bernie Sanders does not win the nomination, which should not happen. I really don't see a path for that not happening, except for one path. Ironically enough, the path where Tulsi Gabbard, who is really the only person in this race who is pulling from Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth Warren is not pulling from Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders supporters look at her and say that she's not a good substitute. Okay, right? Joe Biden clearly isn't pulling from Bernie Sanders. Andrew Yang is not pulling from Bernie Sanders. But I can show you individual after individual after individual who used to support Bernie Sanders who now support Tulsi Gabbard. Take that to the bank. The person who gets hurt the most in this is Bernie Sanders. On the weekend that is going to be Bernie Sanders, one of his biggest weekends, save the nominating weekend, the weekend when he accepts a nomination. If you think, it's really it's irrational for you to believe that Hillary Clinton is this powerful, that she can mastermind all these great evils on the global stage and not know that she's also powerful enough, or believe that she's powerful enough to coordinate this for Elizabeth Warren in order to hurt Bernie Sanders. It's a conspiracy, but it's a conspiracy that is not a leap of logic from people who believe that Hillary Clinton is this great Satan with these great supervillain powers. You have to see that a person that Machiavellian would absolutely exact her revenge on Bernie Sanders. It's a conspiracy for sure. And I don't really believe it myself, but I do think it is a good way to understand American politics right now. The length to which people will go when their support for a candidate is rooted in their hatred for another candidate. And Tulsi Gabbard seized the moment and mastered the moment in a magnificent way. But I recognize game.
Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and support The Benjamin Dixon Show.
No need to go to patreon.com today. Sorry, that's left in my template. I want to point out one last thing before I shift to the second part of this conversation. Hillary Clinton actually did not call Tulsi Gabbard by name. The only person she called by name was Jill Stein. She did not say Tulsi Gabbard's name at all. So pray tell, when she references a woman in the campaign, she literally could have been talking about anybody. So what is it about Tulsi Gabbard that made her offended that Hillary Clinton suggested that there is a woman in the campaign who is being manipulated by this old saying that my family used to say, that everybody's family in the black community say, hit dogs holler. All right, moving on. What I am fascinated with, listen, I can't tell you how to participate in politics. You could just listen to me or not. And you can't tell me how to participate in politics. You could just listen to me or not. But the thing that I'm interested in, and the reason I have a show, is because I just look at things differently. The entire first half of this show that I just did was really the horse race, right? Political posturing and catalyzing hate and catalyzing the cult of personality. That's the horse race. What I actually care about is how people reveal themselves to us and show us who they really are. Now, I don't get it right all the time. I missed it a couple of times. I missed it in some very public ways that I'm actually embarrassed about. I really wish I had listened to some people, but that's neither here nor there. It's not about me. I am more fascinated by who Tulsi Gabbard does not speak as clearly and boldly against as she spoke against Hillary Clinton. And that's what I tweeted last night. I tweeted last night, like, let's play a game. List all of the people that Tulsi Gabbard would never speak this clearly about. And what's ironic about this is not at one point did I say anything to support Hillary Clinton. I'm looking at Tulsi Gabbard. I know who Hillary Clinton is. I have her figured out. Tulsi is a bit of a mystery to me still, but I know her by who she does not speak out against. I know that about human nature. If you want to really know who someone is, don't look at who they're bold about. Look at who they're quiet about or who they prevaricate with. Tulsi Gabbard is quiet about what's happening in Kashmir. She's quiet about Modi. She's quiet about, and actually she's not quiet about Syria. She prevaricates. She absolutely has turned a blind eye to the suffering of the Kurds in order to warp the conversation to being about a regime change war when the soldiers who were in northern Syria had nothing to do with a regime change. They had everything to do with securing Kurdish people territory and safety. So she easily prevaricates over that. She's not going to speak boldly about that. You know who she speaks boldly in favor of? Donald Trump, and not impeaching him. Glenn Greenwald, who we're friendly, he tweeted me last night, well, you can't put Donald Trump on that list because she insulted him over Saudi Arabia. You remember the tweet I talked about, and I actually retweeted it because I liked it. She talked about Saudi Arabia making Donald Trump their bitch. I was like, okay, that's cool. That's actually a true statement. But that's Saudi Arabia. I mean, the most barbaric kingdom on the face of the planet. If you can't criticize Saudi Arabia, then you might be a Clinton. But when it comes to Donald Trump's clear corruption, his violation of the Emoluments Clause, enriching himself with the money from taxpayers, I mean, literally doing a case study in corruption and impeachable offenses, she gets on Fox News and defends him. She goes on Tucker Carlson, who spent this Monday discussing the indigenous people the way white nationalists discuss indigenous people. She ran to him last night. So it's not who you criticize to me that tells me about you. It's about who you're silent about. The people you cannot criticize. That's just me. I don't expect you to do politics the way I do it. In fact, the way I do politics is probably not beneficial to anyone in terms of like an actual campaign. You know, these political campaigns don't have the time to actually, navel gaze, as Rush Limbaugh. I'm a navel gazer. I look within. I try to look at I need to know the spirit of somebody. I need to know the actual personality of somebody. And Tulsi Gabbard, I'm telling you, one, she is not anti-war. She campaigns on being the commander in chief. She has a fixation with the U.S. military that is not anti-war. I think she's anti-certain wars, but is willing to engage in other imperialist campaigns as America's commander in chief. That's what she's running on. Now, again, I want to emphasize my show. While I do occasionally give specific strategic advice that I think campaigns, particularly Bernie Sanders' campaign, should engage in so that they can win, and while sometimes I do go through the horse race, political machinations, ultimately the core of my show is about us as people, as humans, and human nature. And my number one concern in our political participation is how easily some of us can be targeted because of our inordinate either love for someone, in the cult of personality in support of that person, or hate for someone. And a hatred that oftentimes finds us or leads us to be in league with people who don't even have remotely the same political ideologies, economic policies, foreign, anything like hatred led people to Donald Trump, from Bernie Sanders to Donald Trump, period. That type of mentality is what I address on my show. And also, who are you not speaking about? Listen, you carry your life the way you want to carry your life, man. Do you, man? I'm not going to hate on you anymore. I mean, if you are inadvertently the target of my snarky remarks, it's not because I have any beef against you. It's just I'm going to say what the hell I want to say when I want to say it, and I expect you to do the same thing. Doesn't mean we have to be enemies, but if you choose, so choose. Because here's the thing, like, you really have people who cannot analyze that question. Who would Tulsi Gabbard never speak this boldly about? Because she spoke boldly against Hillary Clinton. Nailed it. But she would never, under any circumstances, speak this clearly and directly about so many problematic figures in her orbit. But instead of thinking about that question, people who hate Hillary Clinton with the fire of 10,000 suns saw that I didn't criticize Hillary Clinton in that tweet. And they interpreted that as support for Hillary Clinton. Do you guys see how irrational that is? I mean, I know you see it, but I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking about other people. Do other people not realize how irrational that is? Because but it happens as a result of people being actualized, like they're what enables their what started, what was the big bang of their political participation, was the hatred for Hillary Clinton. And I'm not talking about those people any worse than I talk about that other group, the counterpoint, the yin to that yang, of those people whose political participation is rooted in their love for the cult of personality around Hillary Clinton. But I think when American politics, because that's the nature. Listen, if you don't believe me, just watch. Take Hillary Clinton out that equation and put someone in. Who do you have? Donald Trump. You have people who are, no matter what Donald Trump does, they will love everything that he did. That's how he gets away with what he gets away with. I mean, literally scamming America. And then on the other side, you have people who hate him so much that no matter who likes him, no matter if George W. Bush comes out against him, no matter if John Bolton comes out against him, no matter they would embrace people who hate him, no matter how evil that person is. That's American politics. At the beginning, I framed it just in terms of the Clintons, but no, that's American politics. Cult of personality, supporting somebody, and then pure sheer hatred. Then you got, I mean, take Donald Trump out of the equation. Bernie Sanders. I get extremely frustrated and call it all the time when people are engaged in the cult of personality around Bernie Sanders. But that's the nature of American politics. You just kind of got to go with it, I guess. And then on the flip side, you have people who hate him so irrationally that it just makes it's mind boggling. Like people would turn against the policies that would absolutely help them. They would fight against Medicare for all just because they hate Bernie Sanders. American politics is just waiting for it's one big game of mass manipulation. One big game of mass manipulation. And right now, what you saw last night was nothing more than Hillary Clinton using her platform to mobilize millions of people who hate her more than they hate Lucifer himself. And all of those people are the people who are now rallying the flag around Tulsi Gabbard. And who does Tulsi Gabbard hurt? Bernie Sanders. Do I think Hillary Clinton did that as a strategy to hurt Bernie Sanders? Nah, I don't think I don't ascribe that much superpower to her. I just know that so long as our politics are based on either a cult of personality, love and adoration for someone that you can't possibly see their mistakes, or your politics, or if a person's politics are rooted in hatred for someone, so much so that their hatred for that individual, whoever it is, in this case Hillary Clinton, will lead you to being bedfellows with people like Donald Trump. I mean, we've seen it, and I guarantee you, listen, we made the prediction years ago about a certain group of people, and it came to fruition. Like, they're full-fledged Donald Trump supporters. I guarantee you're going to see the same exact thing happen with Tulsi supporters. My word. Don't worry about it right now. Right now, go out to the rally in New York and get ready. Make sure your family is registered to vote. Make sure that they meet all the deadlines to become a Democrat if they're not one, so that they can vote for Bernie Sanders. Whoever you vote for, don't vote for Joe Biden, for the love of God, or Tulsi Gabbard. But I digress. So don't worry about that right now. But in the long run, we absolutely are going to have to address the nature of American politics, where we can be so easily manipulated based on who we either absolutely love and can see no wrong, or who we absolutely hate and would be and think that the enemy of my enemy is my friend, when in actuality, sometimes the enemy of your enemy is a piece of shit. But hatred makes you, irrational hatred makes you do irrational things. And last but not least, it's just my motto for life. It's easy to speak out against people. If you really want to know a person, who are they silent about? Ask yourself, hell, I guess I have to ask myself about my own show. Who do I not speak out about against on my show? Thankfully, I have like 5,000 videos and 800 episodes, so I'm pretty sure I've given everybody the business, including myself. But if you really want to know somebody, who are they silent about? If Tulsi Gabbard spoke out as boldly against just Modi, for example, and what's happening in Kashmir, if she spoke out as boldly about that, that's hard. I was about to end the show, but can I tell you, it's hard. It is hard to criticize the people who are closest in your orbit. It's more difficult to criticize your family when they are doing something wrong than it is to criticize your enemy when they're doing something wrong. But it speaks volumes about your character. And Tulsi Gabbard has not used that energy that she used, rightfully so. If you need it couched if you need my comments couched in a critique of Hillary Clinton, I'll say it this way. I absolutely loved the way she devastated Hillary Clinton yesterday. It was bold. It was clear. Now, if Tulsi Gabbard had the temerity to do that same thing about some of the people in her orbit that she prevaricates for, I would think more of her as a person, and I would think more of her in terms of her campaign. But she doesn't do it, and she would never do it. And that tells me more about her personality and her character than that tweet about Hillary Clinton. I've been wrong before, so I can handle being wrong, but I'm not wrong about this.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and support The Benjamin Dixon Show. If you like this episode, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.